from the NewsChannel 5 network. This is Inside Workforce Development.
Hi everyone, and thanks for joining us. Today we are going to talk about an industry that you may not have heard of, but it is very much in demand and one that we will be hearing a lot of as the future goes on. Joining us today are Fred Rasco from Motlow State Community College.
Thank you.
And Walter Bowles from MTSU. Thanks for joining us today.
Thank you. It's a pleasure to be here.
We are talking about mechatronics.
Right.
Now, some people may have heard of that, some people may not be familiar with that. Kind of give us an overview of what exactly that is.
Well, mechatronics is a blend of several different technologies. It's electronics, mechanics, fluid power, computer control, processors. It actually was coined by an engineer in Japan in the late 60s, but it's really flourished here over the last 20 years.
And tell us a little bit about why it's so important right now and why it's so in demand.
It's in demand because of the automation that's increased over the last 20 or 30 years. And automation is all of those things Fred just mentioned. Whether someone is baking a cake, or whether in an industry setting, or whether they're making automobiles. It's in all aspects of industry, and engineers these days need to know about those particular disciplines: mechanical, electrical, and computer and systems engineering.
Is that something that when you are studying mechatronics, you need to know a lot about each one of those different aspects?
You do need to know a lot about each one of those aspects, but even more importantly, you need to know how they interact with each other, because everything you look at is a system anymore. It's not just a mechanical system or not just electrical system. So you have to understand how the electrical components interact with the mechanical components with the processors, and so that's what we do now. We teach how all these systems work together to form a complete system to either be a product or to build a product, such as an ATM, or manufacture an automobile, or anything that you can imagine is manufactured that way.
What has changed from today to 20 years ago that has made this so much more in demand now? What is different in that manufacturing process?
The sensor technology, all of the automation technology is advancing so quickly that we can do things now with automation that we only dreamed about 20 years ago. So that increase in the technology puts demands on the educational system to increase the preparedness of students to enter that sector.
So you've had to kind of change the way you're teaching, or change what you were teaching over the last few years to kind of bring this up to where we need to be?
Yeah, I think what we've done is to change the pedagogy of how we teach by creating more of a systems approach, more of a hands-on, so that it's a lot of classroom and a lot of theory, but you take it to a laboratory and you look at it on a real system. You get a lot of hands-on, the way the systems are continually evolving. Industry is always looking to become more efficient, to be competitive in the marketplace, and by being more competitive, you're looking at automatic systems or automation, if you will, and that's really what's driving this technology.
When you sit back and you look at the state of Tennessee and the need that the state has right now, are there enough people in this field studying it currently and out there working right now?
There are not, and that's exacerbated by the fact that so many people are about to retire. A lot of the engineers that are about to retire that I've talked to may have been a mechanical engineer, and they said, I've actually had to learn a lot about electrical engineering and computer engineering on the job over the years because of this increase in automation. And a lot of them say, I would like to have had a mechatronics degree when I graduated. That would have helped my career a lot. So that's what we're trying to reach, is get people out there for the vacancies that exist now, but there's huge vacancies coming up in the next 5 to 10 years of people retiring.
So you think right now there are enough people out there, or you could always use more?
No, the industry, even not just asking us, but if you went out and asked the industry, they would say absolutely not. They're clamoring and screaming for help. They need people that are absolutely qualified at all levels of technology, levels of maintenance, engineering techs, and engineers, and they come to us and say, we need to develop what we started to develop to help ease that burden, because like Dr. Bowles said, one aspect is the baby boomers, if you will, are retiring, and that's a huge workforce, that's leaving. The second faction of that is the technology is constantly changing, and it's becoming more and more complex, if you will, a lot more automation. And so that's two problems that we have with that, with the baby boomers leaving, and then the technology is so rapidly changing and evolving. All these processes are continually being upgraded, and we need to keep up with it.
And that's interesting, because we're also seeing this issue in the skilled laborers, the carpenters, electricians.
Exactly. Where
the people who have been doing it for years are retiring, and the new people aren't there to take their place and continue to provide that service.
That's exactly right. That's exactly right. It's a continual problem that they have. The other aspect, is our area has so many different types of manufacturing industries going on right now, which is really good. But there's the demand is really big for our area, which is a good thing.
That is a good thing. Are there specific areas of Tennessee where you see a bigger demand for electronics and mechanical engineering, just engineering in general? Are there certain hot spots throughout the state?
I think Middle Tennessee is one of the hot spots due to the automotive manufacturing, the second tier, first tier, second tier, as well as the original manufacturers. So, and it's growing, I think. If you consider, I guess, Volkswagen in Chattanooga, maybe that would be southeast Tennessee, but it's still not too far from Middle Tennessee. So we're just seeing a huge amount of investment in Middle Tennessee. I'm not that familiar with West Tennessee, what goes on there. Perhaps Fred is, I don't know.
Yeah, definitely Tennessee is a hotbed for manufacturing and specifically automotive, but it's even much broader than automotive. When automotive comes in, it brings all the tier ones that Dr. Bowles was talking about, all the tier ones and tier twos for that. But in our area alone, right here in Middle Tennessee, we have so many different industries. You have cosmetic manufacturing, you have food industry manufacturing, You've got appliance industry manufacturing, and many different ones. And so in order to meet the needs of all of them, they all have the basic requirement for someone that knows mechatronics technology, because the systems they all use are basically the same. You just have to apply your knowledge in each one.
Well, it is, like we said, an industry that is in demand, and one that you need some training for. When we come back, we'll talk about what their two schools are doing to help prepare us for the future. We'll be right back.